So before I move on to my next curiosity, Riemann hypothesis, I'd like to finish this project with a visualization of the Collatz conjecture and what is actually happening in each of the peak numbers from the 8th Mersenne prime. So what makes this different is that it's it's starting not a random number but more on a like the highest peak, like larger and larger numbers, which is the previous peak, and then made add. So it's from the 8th Mersenne prime, and then I take the highest peak and then I made it odd if it's an even number. And I think what's really interesting is that when I did evaluate each of the peak numbers, it's actually all of these numbers except for the first was actually composite, so it's not considered prime. So, which kind of tells me that if you just randomly picked a high number, it's probably not a prime. It's probably kind of difficult to pick a prime based off just picking one out of like the highest peak, and that for me is kind of surprising because in my last project it felt like there's more prime. It felt like there's but that's because it's in a tight range. So there's like 534 for every 2000. But if you're just doing it this way, then yeah. So it's most of these are not prime. Actually, only one is prime. So prime is indeed, in this context, is rare. Okay, and so I decided to generate up to 300 digits. That's about increasing my run from 100 to 300 digits. Actually, from 100, I forget what's the initial number of folders. In terms of number of folders, there was actually 541 generated folders. So it's as a digit increase, there's an increase in number of steps. So for each just one folder, one starting number, it was like it had to calculate like 6,000, close to 7,000 steps. So at first it's like 4,000. That's why it took quite a long time to finish, to get up to 300 digits. But it's worth it. When I start doing this visualization, it was the shape is concave, it's expanding. There's positive correlation, but yeah, I do see like it's amazing to look at the expansion, but also that not all, but as I go to the next peak, it's not always like expanding or growing at the same rate. There's also times when it was contracting. And I think I might have already said it, it isn't a perfectly increasing number of steps. There are digits that actually contracted. So I think that as you can see in the visualization, eventually it fell faster when it did start breaking down. And we don't see the steep. It looks like in the beginning it looks more smooth, more flat, and that's because I'm working with astronomically high numbers, and when they do grow, I think my y-axis is also like 20 digits range, 10, 5, and it just, I think it's only on the way down that it gets smaller range, but as it goes up it's higher range, so that contributes us to the shape. We don't see this steep, we just see it flattened at the top, so more it does form a perfect concave because of that. And also because it's not a number value, it's a digit, number of digits. But essentially, concave is really, I think, the perfect shape for the Collatz